All right, so today I'm going to do a full day of eating of 1,800 calories. And I'm doing this to take advantage of the fact that I'm now in week 7, or actually week 8 of my 8-week diet. And it's not that often that I'm going to find myself eating 1,800 calories. In fact, after I'm done eating 1,800 calories at the end of this week and then 3 following days, I'm probably not going to be at 1,800 calories ever again because I don't think it's fun. But anyway, let's go ahead and get this started. So the key to eating something like 1,800 calories or even low is when you're on a diet, the whole point is to diet down to a specific weight or for a specific look. But once you get there, like, you don't need to do it ever again. You just need to maintain at that point. So the key to eating low calories is really just finding meals that are going to keep you full, number one, and most importantly, but also meals that you enjoy, and then meals that you can, if you need to, eat the same thing for as long as you need to, even if it's going to be over a series of weeks. So I've been eating the same meals for the 2 weeks that I've been on 1,800 calories. So we're going to start with breakfast. But before I even start with breakfast, one thing that I do when I wake up in the morning is I start with coffee. And I prefer to drink my coffee black. I don't add sugar or anything like that. That way I don't add any calories to what I'm drinking. Now, is it a crime to add sweeteners, if you like a low calorie sweetener, almond milk or something like that to your coffee? Of course not. I just prefer not to do it. So anyway, my first meal or my breakfast is usually a big bowl of yogurt with fruit, and I have a egg white omelet and ham. So I'm going to show you how I make that. But before I even do that, I want to just again prove some of the things that I talk about in my book. And one of those things is to plan out your meals as opposed to track your meals. And that's key, again, to staying within your calories. And so I actually already have all of my meals for the day planned out in Chronometer. And so it makes it easy. I already know that, like, if I eat these meals in this exact quantity, then I'm not going to go over my 1,800 calories. The only thing I don't have planned at this point is the Wrigley's gum that I chew all day, because sometimes I chew 2 pieces, sometimes I chew 10 pieces, but that still is accounted for in the 1,800 calories that I eat. So let's go ahead and get started. I grab a big bowl and I put my yogurt on the scale, and then I scoop out the 170 grams that I need. So 170 grams of yogurt. $90, $136, $178. I don't have to, but I will put some back. $172, $170. 170 grams of yogurt have been taken out of this container. I add 150 grams of blueberry. Zero out the scale. Add 150 grams of blueberry. 110 grams. So now I need to add some more. So 150 grams of blueberry. And I'm going to add 150 grams of strawberry. And so there's a couple of ways that you can do this. You can either first put 150 grams in a bowl somewhere, but I just I just go ahead and cut up my cut the stems off, and then I add it to the bowl, and I wait until I have 150 grams in. 90 grams. And another key is to save time is what I normally do. I guess I forgot to do it right now. Is I actually start my egg omelet, and my egg omelet will be cooking at at the same time that I'm doing this, but I've started this process now, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish. 128 grams and 154 grams of strawberry. And I put 225 grams of egg omelet in a scale. Zero out the scale. $223. I usually eat 225. A little bit more. 225 grams of egg white. And at the same time, I weigh out about 100 grams of ham. I zero out my scale. And I weigh out 100 grams of ham. 106. Good enough for me. As an egg cook and I'm waiting to eat it, then I can eat my yogurt. And one last thing that I do with my yogurt is I add a sweetener. I actually add Splenda to my yogurt. And I don't weigh this out, but 5 grams of Splenda is about 10 calories. And so that's ready, and I'm gonna eat on this while my omelet cooks. So now I have just enough space for my ham, to add my ham. You know, funny story, I was for a long time buying Canadian bacon until I was in the grocery store and a gentleman made fun of me. And he did it subtly too. He was like, I went to the grocery store and I asked him, I said, hey man, I'm looking for Canadian bacon. Do you have Canadian bacon? And he looked at me and he was like, you mean ham? And I'm like, no, I mean Canadian bacon. He's like, ham, right? I'm like, no, Canadian bacon. Anyway, at that moment, I didn't realize what he was talking about, but it hit me a couple of weeks later when I was thinking about it. And I realized that ham, I looked at the macros, and the macros for ham and Canadian bacon are pretty much the same. And so I looked at the price difference, and Canadian bacon is like $10.99 a pound, and ham is like $3 a pound. So I realized that I have been paying, or I was paying $7 more per pound to get Canadian bacon, which at the end of the day is just ham. So go ahead and flip this now. Put this on the plate. And so now the egg is ready, the ham is ready, the yogurt is ready. That's the breakfast, and the macros on this breakfast are only 473 calories. And that's breakfast. Okay, so before I go to the gym, I'm actually about to have lunch, and it's pretty late in the day. It's 2 o'clock right now, but this lunch is pretty simple. And like I said before, it's already planned in Chronometer because I eat this every day while I'm currently on my cut. So this lunch is French fries and chicken breast. So, and the first thing I do, I actually use my air fryer, and I have 2 of them. Here's one of my air fryers, and here's the other air fryer. And I'll go ahead and I'll weigh out 300 grams of French fries, put it in one air fryer, and then I weigh out 200 grams of chicken breast, and I put that in the other air fryer. So let's go ahead and get that done right now. Zero it out, 0 grams. $330. $300 grams. And And I put the air fryer on 7 minutes because I like my French fries a little bit crispier. And now I do the same thing for my chicken breast. And one thing I do to actually make this process a little bit easier is when I buy chicken breasts for the entire week, I go ahead and prepare it by slicing it and thinning it out and then beating it so that it will cook evenly, so the entire breast is not thick, and it makes it easier to prepare. So I'm going to go ahead and put 200 grams of chicken breast in the scale now. So that's 211. That works. I'm not going to cut off 11 grams of chicken breast just to make it work. It's not that serious at this point, of course. But and then I season it. And then I do the same thing. I put it in the air fryer for about 7 minutes. And then I wait. And because I put them both in the air fryer for 7 minutes, it takes about 7 minutes for that to cook, not including the warm-up time that it takes for the air fryer to warm up. But pretty much after 7 to 10 minutes, I'm eating lunch. All right, so lunch is done. Instant Pot number 1 finished. Instant Pot number 2 just finished. So let's see what this looks like. Fries, exactly like I like them. Time for the chicken. And then the last thing I like to put on it is this sugar-free G. Hughes barbecue sauce. And I get about 45 grams of this, which is only 15 calories. And there we go. And of course, I have Diet Coke with the lunch. It's a 0-calorie beverage. And this is lunch. And it's a pretty filling meal for me. And the macros on this meal are 55 grams of protein, 60 grams of carbs, 16 grams of fat, for total calories of 628 calories. And that's lunch. All right, so it's finally time for dinner, and this is going to be my third meal for today. And dinner is pretty easy because it's just a large salad. And so I'm going to prepare those ingredients right now. It's really just tuna and some stuff that go in the salad. So let me go ahead and get that stuff out. All right, so I got a cucumber. I got some tomato already prepared. I'm gonna grab my avocado. Some fat-free cheese. And lettuce. And depending on how low your calories are, you can either use something like Skinny Girl. That's only 10 calories for a serving if you want your salad to be wet. Or I use this guacamole salsa, but it's 60 calories per serving. So you can use something like this if you have like 2,000 calories. But when you get down to the nitty gritty and only have 1,800 calories or even lower, you probably want to use something like Skinny Girl. Now I can use that, the other one, but if I use that, then it'll take all my calories, and then I'll have less calories available for chewing gum. Okay, so I'm about to cut these ingredients up. It usually takes me about 10 minutes to put everything together, and then I'll sit down and have a meal. All right, so dinner is over, and last but not least, I end the day with a large bag of Smart Pop popcorn. This is not the 100-calorie snack. This is actually the regular bag, and one entire bag is 240 calories. So I make sure I fit that into my day, and it provides a large volume of food after I eat it. And I have a couple of Diet Cokes with that, and I'm pretty much satisfied by the time I'm done with everything. And so that, with the bag of popcorn and everything I ate today, that brings my total calorie count to 1,778 calories. So I still have room for 2 sticks of chewing gum. So I'm going to make sure I have that. And my total macros for the day are 167 grams of protein, 204 grams of carbs, and 35.4 grams of fat. So that's how I eat 1,800 calories per day, and hopefully you got something from this video. And until next time, good luck on your own body transformation. Peace.